Your Fitness Business Podcast Snapshot. The revolution of the live streamed class. Converting your free live stream classes over to fee-based. And finally, tips on how to produce a professional live stream class. All that and more coming up in today's show. Welcome to episode 307 of the industry's leading fitness business podcast for owners and managers. This month's interviews are brought to you by our podcast sponsor, MyZone, the wearable technology that enhances paid programming and drives customer engagement. To find out more, go to myzone.org. FBP family, welcome to another educational episode of the Fitness Business Podcast. I am your host, Dory Nugent. There is no denying that when the pandemic first hit, fitness facilities were left scrambling to make changes to keep their members safe. One of the many departments that was affected was the group fitness department. Virtual group fitness classes were forced to make a stronger presence, and instructors all across the world, through trial and error, had to quickly learn how to become video stars. Fast forward a few months, and virtual online fitness classes are still in demand. Today, our guest, Sara Kooperman, talks to us about the art of virtual live streaming and delivers some excellent insight on how to deliver a top-notch virtual group fitness class. Sara Kooperman, an industry veteran, I'd like to refer to her as a fitness trailblazer with over 40 years of wealth and knowledge, is known throughout the industry as a well-sought-after presenter, an author, and she is the CEO of SCW Fitness Education and WATERinMOTION. Sara has a unique ability to share her passion and devotion towards fitness education through her humor, enthusiasm, and her effervescent, no-nonsense personality. She serves on the Gold's Gym ThinkTank, was on the Women's in Fitness Association Board of Directors, and is a proud inductee into the National Fitness Hall of Fame. Sara has left an incredible mark on the fitness industry, and I am honored to speak with her today, and I hope that you enjoy the episode. But first, let's hear a quick message from our friends at MyZone. MyZone is the industry's leading wearable technology platform that drives engagement and provides personal feedback and motivation through gamification, wherever your members choose to work out. Go digital to provide a hybrid offering. Your members will love you for it. Learn more at myzone.org. It's time, FBP family. Do you have your pen and notepad ready? Because you are about to hear a wealth of knowledge about live streaming your group fitness classes. I hope you enjoy this week's interview with our amazing guest, Sara Kooperman. Welcome, Sara Kooperman, to the Fitness Business Podcast.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you, Dory, for having me.
I know you're a big part of the family, so we just love having you on. You're always welcome here.
I love it. I listen to it regularly. I've known Justin for years, and it's wonderful because it provides information worldwide. And I do not like to live in a vacuum. Welcome to the pandemic. But
well, that is for sure. I agree with you. I love the fact that it's international and we have guests from all over the world come on and share their knowledge and experience. And I think the other day I interviewed like two people. One was in Singapore and then one was in the UK. And it's like I hung up and I was just like, I felt like I was already around the world and it was like only lunchtime. It was the neatest thing. I loved it. So, well, we're very excited to talk today about virtual streaming. You've been working hard at perfecting the technique. So just tell us a little bit about like, what's your definition of what you classify as a live stream class?
Well, it's got to be a live class, meaning that it's either good or bad. You know, if the dog's barking and the tripod falls over and your little light ring explodes, which has happened to me, if it pops and explodes, I mean, it's live. It's just live. It's like old TV that used to be live before it was pre-recorded. So you have to basically have some mechanism you're using as a camera, some way to get your sound in. You set your time of when you're going to do this, and you live stream.
And is there a platform that you prefer? I'm sure you've tried them all. Is there one specific platform that you have found a lot of success with?
Okay. Multiple platforms for different types of success. If you want to do Facebook Live, which is fantastic, you want to do a Facebook Live, you really can't charge for it. You have to, quote unquote, take donations or take professional contributions. You know, somehow you have to put up your Venmo account, your PayPal account, and if you want to get compensated for, let's say, the program or the class that you're running on Facebook Live, that's your mechanism for doing it. And you can reach more people because then what they can do is share it with their friends. Mm-hmm. And so, but sometimes that's deceptive because if you do Facebook Live, what's going to happen is like, oh my gosh, 3,000 people saw you. Well, no, they didn't. They just clicked on you, thought you were stupid and didn't like your leotard and went to the next one. Okay. But because they clicked on you, that's not very kind, is it, Dory? But because they clicked on you, you think I got 3,000 views. Well, somebody thinks you're a moron and is probably texting you right now, seeing if you'll cheat on your husband. You know, it doesn't count. But because of the shares, you really can go global, and it's wonderful. And you can reach outside of your bailiwick, reach outside of your home. So I love Facebook for that. I love YouTube because if you film something and put it on YouTube, same thing. People can search for you. And I love that too, because you've then recorded something, you can keep it up there, which is wonderful. But when they finish watching you, there's those little boxes at the bottom that pop up of what you're interested in because Facebook is watching and YouTube is watching. They know who you are, what you buy, where you're going to shop online. They can scope you out. So sometimes I like Venmo because then I can put it on Venmo and then it stays on my site. And I'm not getting all these little pop-ups of a competitor or of, the new shoes, the new running shoes I needed to buy, anything like that. So I like that. I really do love Zoom. I love Zoom for a couple of reasons. You can separate the voice and you can separate the video. I know Fitness Business podcasts use that. Mm-hmm. People are very used to Zoom at this point. Some people find it a little bit wonky at the beginning because they are thinking, oh, I want to do my 1 hour fitness class. Well, sweetheart, you're going to be limited to 40 minutes if you're using a free program. You may need to pay $15 a month, mm-hmm. which, at 175, 100 and what is it, $60, $70 for the year, that's a minimal investment for great flexibility because you can then reach up to 100 people and you can stay on for a much, much longer period of time, for hours. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, Zoom, I thought was going to crash. I thought they'd have problems. I thought whatever, like a dream it's been running. So we chose to use Zoom because then we could also integrate it with other programs and then just have a link that people could just click on and go right in. No password, no nothing. People need to find what they feel comfortable with. And what we've realized is so many people are using Zoom. It's a little higher quality. That's kind of, when you ask me, Dory, what's my choice? We've landed on Zoom, but we have had to train people how to use it.
Yes, I agree. And I think you're right in the aspect of different platforms, pros and cons to each. I completely agree. So let's talk a little bit about what you need in order to create a successful virtual class.
Oh my gosh, that is a great question. And I know you said to me, what are we thinking about with streaming? We're lucky at SCW that we have a professional cinematographer. Mm. And he started the streaming with a professional camera. There are people that use a $5,000 camera to film, and it streams right into the computer, and you put it up online, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But who can afford this? Right. And frankly, SCW owns one because we were filming and blah, blah, blah. I've owned it for, I don't want to know, probably a decade, but I can't own 8 of those for my conference. I mean, there goes my budget. That ain't working. So people are scrambling, and our cinematographer, Mike, his name is Mike Lieber. He's lovely. And he actually, we were looking at all this, a computer like a Mac Air, a MacBook works really great because it's got the built-in camera, and then you also have the music that you can go right in, and you've got the Bluetooth that can go right in there as well. And if you go to advanced settings when you're in Zoom, and then you have to click a few buttons, you can integrate the music you have on your Mac computer that you typically might have on your iPhone, right? Integrate the music from your computer and your Bluetooth AirPods, and then play the music and your voice by just wearing little AirPods and having your computer running, okay? And you don't need a $5,000 computer. But that gets really difficult because Zoom was not made to integrate music and your voice. It's not a receiver. So some people chose external receivers. And if you can buy an external receiver, they're only a couple $100, and plug in your microphone and plug in your camera or your phone. Just getting these attachments, you can buy these attachments, oh my gosh, anywhere on the internet. And you can figure it out that way. But a lot of people have had very, very simple success with an iPad, because an iPad is bigger, you can see yourself. If you step back by a good 8 feet, or I would say between 2.5 meters, for our people in Europe, 2.5 to 3 meters. I was just on a webinar in India, like, I don't know, 4 a.m. this morning. That's why I kind of, thank goodness this is a podcast and nobody can see the way I really look. But if you can stand back far enough, then you don't need to move the camera when you sit down or you stand up. Because when I was very close to the camera, I had to elevate it so you could see my entire body. You ever been, when you take a selfie and you lift up the iPhone because then you can't see the wrinkles in your neck? All right, well, I'm showing my age. But everybody lifts, when they take a selfie, they lift it up, right? I'm not stupid here. Okay, I may own several albums still, but you hold up your selfie like that. And you hold up your phone like that to get a better selfie. Well, that's the way your camera should be. It should be a little bit elevated. You need a camera. You need to think about your microphone. You need to think about your lighting, okay? I actually have a 28-point checklist for people to do. You need to make sure you've eaten a half an hour before you get on air, so you don't get in the middle of your whatever you're teaching and your blood sugar just plummets. Make sure you've had something to drink, and make sure you've gone to the bathroom, because you don't want to be I've been in the middle of a webinar and thought I was going to kill myself, okay? I always, when I'm doing Zoom and I'm just doing a lecture of sorts, I'll have a coffee mug, not a glass, and not a can. I'll do a coffee mug filled with water, because then even if I want to put, vodka and orange juice in there, it looks like, not that I would ever do that, Dory, or a glass of white wine, but I've got it's like the morning show. You just have your coffee cup and you have a sip. It's right there for you. I try, this sounds kind of silly, but for those women out there, always wear lipstick. Now, that's going to sound weird, but I used to sell fitness equipment for over 12 years on QVC. And what I learned is people can read lips. Like if you've ever watched sporting events, you can tell what those coaches are saying, right?
Right.
And those players that get fouled out.
Right.
Yeah, the term foul applies both ways, what they're saying and what they've done. So people read lips. So wearing lipstick really helps.
Very well versed to what's going on out in the Group X world. I've been starting to hear that some of the clubs are taking one of their studios and converting them into a filming studio. So, a lot of clubs aren't working at full capacity. So if they have more than one group fitness studio, they may be taking one of them and setting it up. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's brilliant. Okay, I really think it's brilliant. If you have the extra space to be able to convert one room that you can close the door, that you can keep the camera or the tripod for the iPad or the phone and some ring lights set up, and always have it, poised for production, that is wonderful to do. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be live streaming, you want to think about your music. Now you can live stream and use Spotify and use iTunes and use, whatever music source you use while you're streaming. But if you're going to record it and play it later, you have to pay for mechanical rights and playing rights and things like that. You're going to have to pay ASCAP, BMI, CSPAC, whatever, sources you need to. And you use those cover tracks, they're not horrible anymore, but they're decent, but you've got to use that for recording. So you need to think about that. But I think that's marvelous for studios to do. We definitely need to realize that we're in a pandemic. And while this is a horrible thing, we have to realize there have been wonderful progressions that have always come out of pandemics or like in the 1850s, the plagues. We got paved streets. We got vaccines. We had medical advancements that we never had, industrial advancements, transportation advancements because of these horrible plagues. The advancements we're experiencing now are online, mm-hmm. and they aren't going away. Mm-hmm. They cannot replace the live experience, but it may not make you significant amount of revenue, because I've talked to a lot of people, as have you, in Hong Kong, in Portugal, in Australia, and heard that they may be a month ahead of us. And even though they've been streaming and the club is offering this streaming model and a live model and a hybrid model, the streaming doesn't really make them the revenue that they kind of anticipated that it would, but it's a cost of doing business. And I also believe that all these free classes that people are running
mm-hmm. are going to about this. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this, about everybody did it for free, and now clubs need cash and they need revenue. So I'd love, please expand on that. I'd like to hear what you'd have to say.
And everybody needs, we've got kids. You and I have been talking. We've got kids are going to college. I've got a dog to feed. I've got responsibilities, and we all have that. But we didn't know the pandemic was going to last more than 3 weeks. The out of the goodness of our heart phase is over, babe. It's over. And we need to figure out how we're going to charge for it. And I think asking for donations is getting to the point where it's going to get a little bit stale. And asking for contributions for professional services are going to get stale. And everybody's doing it now. Like everybody's streaming their classes and everybody's getting up to speed. But if we can develop a way that we charge, I'm going to use a low end price point here, but like $59 a month for a regular membership that includes virtual and your live classes. So if you can't get in, let's say it's raining, let's say the baby's sleeping, let's say, and the baby may be your child or your grandchild, and you just can't get in, but you want to have that option, that's $59 a month. If you only want the live option, it's $49 a month. And then if you only want the virtual option, it's $39 a month, or maybe $29 a month. It seems to be, we've been chatting, it seems to be that this $29 a month mark with $299 a year tends to be that kind of live stream price point that people are pretty much willing to pay.
What's interesting in the area where I'm at, there's a lot of instructors, the weather's nice, and it's interesting, they're not coming back to the clubs to teach because they've built such a platform, either virtually or outside at different locations. And they're collecting $10 a class on a Sunday morning, and they're making bank compared to coming into the club and making $30, $35 to teach a group X class. And I'm seeing it becoming a problem in a sense of the clubs are struggling to get instructors to come in and teach a class for the club.
Well, and this is where the industry has to come together. A lot of clubs, I've heard this over and over again. In fact, I was talking to my cousin just about an hour ago, Sara Kooperman, okay? She's married to my cousin. But she's an instructor, and she's making bank doing her Facebook postings that she does. And it's wonderful. But the reality is, how long is that going to last? And we can teach outside as well, but the weather is going to change. The weather outside is frightful. All right, so we've got to look at that. And clubs, unfortunately, are seeing their instructors as a threat. They're seeing these Facebook, I'm taking a donation, I'm taking contributions for professional services, or I'm doing my own, I've developed my own website and I'm doing this on my own. And they're like, no, you have to give it up and then come back. Well, that's wrong. That's wrong. Clubs should say, keep it up. We just ask you to do one thing. We ask you to make once a week an announcement of what you're doing, or when you send out your schedule on Sunday night, which I highly encourage everybody to do, send out your schedule via email, post it, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you can post it, what your schedule is for that week, and then include what in-club programs you're going to be offering. We've got to take care of these clubs, or they're going to take over and we're going to be left out as the instructor just doing the freebies or the donation classes. But by the same token, those clubs cannot view the instructor as the enemy. They have to embrace this, or they're going to lose their best instructors.
Well, that's good that you say that, because I do feel as if there's some animosity that's being created. It's like, it's like the club versus the instructor. And I've been hearing it all around again where I live, where they're like, well, fine, she can do that, but I hope she doesn't think, when the weather shifts, she's coming back here because she hasn't supported us for the last couple months. So I'm hearing this really bad animosity between Group X directors or club owner operators and the Group X instructor that's out there just trying to make a couple bucks to buy groceries, put gas in their car, whatever it may be.
And some of them have done nothing. Some of the instructors have not done Facebook. Some of them have not done any Zoom classes. Some of them are just scared of getting themselves on film. You can't live by Zoom alone. And that's what we have to realize. So I think this integrated model, a hybrid model for facilities, is very important. And ask your instructors to come back. Ask them to come back. Tell them they can keep doing what they're doing. Ask them for help. The main thing is, if I can encourage everybody, is try not to let the edges show. Try not to judge too much what other people are doing and what their choices are. Try to work together. Try to be a hybrid. Get the instructors and the clubs and the trainers working with each other as much as possible. They're not the enemy. The pandemic and COVID-19 is the enemy, not each other. Remember that the weather is going to change. Streaming is here to stay. So figure it out and figure it out now and stop doing it for free.
Get your pen ready now for Keep Me's Fit Bizpiration.
Number one, make sure you get a decent camera, can even be a phone. Number two, make sure you have lighting. And number three, make sure that they can hear you.
Keep Me, smarter member retention. KeepMe.ai.
Now let's get back to our show, shall we? Sara, thank you so much for coming back onto the Fitness Business Podcast. Your information is valuable. And the one thing that you said, you said a lot of things, but the one thing that just resonated with me is you said COVID and the pandemic is the enemy, not the instructors versus the club. And I love that. I just think we need to try to all remember that and work together. And you really expressed that. And I thought that was brilliant. Wow. So much great advice. Wouldn't you agree? Oh my. Thank you so much, Sara, for always being such a great supporter of the podcast and for coming on today's show. Now here's a message from our podcast partner, One Fit Stop.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, One Fit Stop, for their support, and we highly recommend all fitness professionals go to onefitstop.com to find out how their software will enable you to take control of day-to-day management in your fitness business. One Fit Stop's scheduling, client management, programming, and payment collection tools will set your business up for success.
Quickfire 5.
Enjoy this week's Quick Fire 5 with our special guest, Sherry McMillan, who in next week's episode will talk about leading a profitable fitness studio. Hi, Sherry McMillan. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing wonderful, all things considering.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you're going to be coming up on our next episode. So we have a couple of quick questions that we're going to ask you just to prepare you and our audience for your upcoming episode. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. The first one is, who inspires you in your life and why?
Definitely my clients, my athletes, any of my good friends who are living their best life and looking and feeling their best, that definitely inspires me.
Okay, good answer. Great. I like that. And why do you do what you do?
Likewise, just the sense of reward that we feel from seeing our clients and the athletes that we work with living their best life, looking and feeling their best. That's definitely makes you feel good about what you do.
Oh, that's the ultimate goal. Feel your best.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, if you weren't doing what you were doing, what would you be doing?
That's a hard question because I actually literally have no idea. And in fact, I've considered that question right now going through COVID-19 because both companies that I own are industries that are outlawed right now. And so it's like, gosh, if this goes really bad, what else can I do? And I'm like, I have no idea. I've done fitness and health my whole life. I have no idea. Like maybe exotic dancing. I have no idea.
That's a first, but I'll take that one. Honesty is the best policy. I love it, Sherry.
I think I can make some money.
Oh, yeah. Fun. I love that. Okay. What is one book, podcast, blog, or Facebook group that you could recommend to our listeners?
Well, I definitely love to connect with our industry publications, so IDEA, URSA, Club Industry, because I love to see what other facilities and other fitness professionals are doing. But every morning I also like to read, it's a quick email that gets sent from INC magazine, and it's just business skill sets and articles, and that also inspires me to learn from other industries, from other successful businesses.
Okay, good recommendation. I like that. And finally, what will be an action item that the FBP family will be able to take away from your main interview?
I would definitely say that the key to success is surround yourself with incredible people, hire great people, build them up, invest in them, empower them, and, definitely hand off everything you possibly can to them, show love and appreciation, and then step away and let them shine.
Hi everyone, Chantal here. Thank you for joining me for this week's throwback episode. It's that part of the show when we take a little trip down memory lane as I share some of my all-time favorite episodes from the first 5 years of the show. This week, we step back to 2019, not too long ago, when I interviewed Simon Walshaw. Simon is the founder of Grace Curve Consulting, which is an Australian-based business that works with organisations to enhance their culture and grow their leadership capacity. His episode was number 250, and it was called 4 Key Levers for Change in Your Fitness Business. During that catch up with Simon, we talked about the role that a leader plays in developing and maintaining a good company culture, the 4 key levers for cultural change, practical ways that you can implement those into your business, tools that you can use to determine if those changes have made an impact, and last but not least, 3 actions that you can do immediately to improve the culture within your organization. If you haven't yet heard that episode, then make sure you take a listen today by clicking on the link in today's show notes, or head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and search for episode 250. Happy listening.
Thank you for joining me for this week's show. And a reminder that all the resources and links for today's episode can be found at fbp.com. Now, here are a few words from our founding partner, Active Management.
Hi FBP family, it's JT from Active Management, the founding partner of the Fitness Business Podcast. Thanks to the amazing technology at our fingertips, we can now work with clients all over the world. But right now, you can join the free online Active Management Facebook community. It's an amazing group of people just like you. Sure, I share weekly resources, but it's the power of the community that you will experience that will make this your go-to Facebook group. Remember, it's free, fun, and inspirational. Go to facebook.com/groups/Active Management Community.
What you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.